Hi guys, so today we are doing another foundation review. I had recently posted a review on the newest Neutrogena foundation, the Hydro Boost. So if you haven't seen it, I will link it above my head so you can tune in and see how that foundation works on my skin. I have oily combination, kind of somewhat dry in certain areas, and I'm also acne prone. So if you are interested in seeing that foundation, go ahead and watch that video and see if it's something that you would be interested in trying. Alright, so the foundation that we are testing today is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. It looks like this. I picked it up at my local Walgreens. I was looking online and I want to say there are about 20 shades. I had no idea about this foundation, and it's actually because a subscriber, Luann, hi Luann, had mentioned that this foundation got better reviews than the Neutrogena one that I posted several days back. So of course the makeup drunk in me was like, a new foundation at the drugstore? Let me see what this is all about. It's been a minute since I've gone to a Walgreens to actually buy any makeup. So I thought, why not try this out? And it is a cruelty-free. Now I will say that the shades were not as abundant as I would have liked that were available in store. Online, there's like, I think 20 shades, and I think it's around $6. So really affordable. I have it in the shade light, medium, warm. I tested this out on my chest last night in my bathroom and also in indoor lighting. So it's a bit dim light, so hopefully this is actually a good match, and it seemed to be pretty good, although it may seem a little dark in the bottom. So this foundation, if you haven't seen any reviews on it, because I really haven't looked into it too much, I have done the research on the ingredients. I use the Paula's Choice ingredient dictionary, which I will link down below. I always refer to that when I'm Googling any sort of ingredients or want to know about them. And none of the ingredients on here were poor or bad or that had any sort of like, you may not want to put this on your face. A lot of the ingredients in this foundation are emollients, thickeners, ingredients to suspend the pigment, which is the color within the formula, and there's not a whole lot of skincare benefits to this, and it's supposed to basically give you a nice sort of matte finish on the skin, so the dimethicone gives that spreadability and that sort of satiny texture to it. So we'll see how that plays against my oily skin. So it's been tested under 7 light conditions, and it's supposed to be able to be used in photography and not have any sort of flashbacks. The formula seems to dry pretty quickly, so I think I'm going to work in sections. The applicator, I will show you if you haven't seen it. It's like a little plastic spatula looking thing, which I'm not a fan of applicators like this. This is not very hygienic to be swiping it all over your face, or if you have this in your kit, if you're a makeup artist, you would have to dump it into like a mixing palette. This isn't something I would do, as I said in the Neutrogena video a few days back. I don't like applicators like this. I would prefer to pump so I can kind of control how much I'm using. The formula smells really, really bad, you guys. Like, the smell of it would normally turn me off completely. It smells like paint thinner, or like a can of paint, or a spray paint can. Like, ugh. Like, I smell it, and it brings me back to when I repainted my house that I own in Texas that's now a rental property. I painted over, I had a red wall, which was beautiful. I loved it. And I had to paint over that, and I had to use like white primer and then 2 coats of that and then the regular paint. Yeah. I'm not really digging the smell of this. But I will try it out. So what we're going to do is use a brush. This is the Morphe M439. And no, I'm not affiliated with them, and I do like this brush, so I will use this for half my face. And then the other half, I'm going to use this beauty sponge from Posh that I got from Kmart. I recently washed it and got all of the makeup residue off of it, and I have it sitting in a paper towel absorbing all of the excess. So I'm going to do the brush probably on this side, which I have the most to cover, and the sponge on this side. Alright, so I'm going to take this foundation, apply it to the back of my hand, which has been sanitized already, and it's ready to go. So just kind of swiping one side and then the other. That's pretty much how much you get. So it might be a decent amount. Hopefully this doesn't set too quickly. So I don't have any primer on, just my skincare products. And where do I want to go? Where do I want to start? Let's start with the chin, because that usually is the area that seems to match, that is kind of dry. So we're going to see if this works in my chin area. And I can already tell you that it's already clinging to the dry areas of my chin. So yeah, not happy about that. Hopefully with the sponge it might be a little bit better. I don't know if this on camera looks good. I think it looks pretty good. It's probably just a hair lighter than I prefer for my face, but it's not too bad. And the smell, oh my god, it's horrible. So watch this be a good foundation, and I'm like gonna have to be stuck with that scent. I'm gonna take some over my eyelids a little bit, and oops, I'm gonna do half with this brush. I mean, it does have some pretty good coverage. I mean, you can see already how that has definitely minimized the appearance of my scars. I will have to go in with some concealer, of course, but much better coverage than the Neutrogena one that I did a review on recently. Okay, so I think that the color might just be off by a hair, not by much really. Just by doing this one side, it does cling to dryness. So if you have dry skin, this is probably not going to be something that I would recommend unless you exfoliate, maybe put some beauty oil, use a hydrating primer or something on your face beforehand, because this is accentuating all of the dryness. And it looks pretty bad. So I will say that it has a really nice finish. So far, I do like that sort of soft kind of petal finish to it. It's not completely matte where it looks like you're just flat and just chalky. Some matte foundations have that horrible look to it. But this one doesn't seem to have that. So now we're going to go in with the damp sponge. And we're going to finish the other side of my chin, the other half. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, a little bit better on the chin with the sponge. And I think it's just that extra moistness. I hate that word, moist. Really does help. So if you're dry, maybe use a beauty blender or some beauty sponge to really blend this in. And I've pretty much used already on just one half everything that I had on there. Let me get just a bit more to even my forehead out, even though I don't need a lot of anything on my forehead or my T-zone. That's usually not an area that I break out, which is odd for oily skin, but whatever. I feel like the coverage is just a bit lighter maybe on this side with the sponge. I think maybe it might just be the sponge that's absorbing some of the product. I have to get a new beauty blender. I've had mine for way too long. So with the sponge, I do think that it gives a bit more of a subtle kind of dewiness to it, but it's not over the top. It's not super duper shiny. It does blend in quite nicely, and I do think that using a damp sponge really helps blend this over any sort of dry, flaky type of skin or just any sort of texture. It goes on better with the sponge. I think that you get more coverage with the brush though, so I guess it's just personal preference really, whatever you like. What do you guys think? I'm going to do just one swipe of the little spatula thing and go over this area. So I'm going to go over it. See, when I did a second coat, that definitely helped diminish the appearance of my blemishes, but this does look a little heavy on my skin. What I'm going to do is add a little bit to my neck to blend this down, because I do feel like this matches my chest, but not so much my neck for whatever reason. So I'm going to put a little bit of this down in this area here, and I will come back and do a checkup. I'm going to forego the setting powder and see what happens, because if I put powder over this, oh Lord, this is going to look really bad. And I actually think I'm not going to use any concealer over this side. I may put concealer on this little spot, the scar right here, but I may leave this alone, because I feel like if I put too much, it might look pretty bad. But if I decide to do that, I will definitely let you guys know when I do my when I do my check-in. I will let you know if I use concealer over this side, which is my bad side. This one, not so much. So I'm going to finish the rest of my face, and I will see you in a little while. Alright guys, so I am back for my first official check-in. It has been a few hours. I applied this foundation closer to 11 a.m. and it is now almost 3:15 in the afternoon. So this is what it looks like. This is the brush side, and this is the sponge side. So as you can see, there is a lot of dewiness. This is at the 4-hour mark, and I did not use any setting powders. The only powder that I used was my blush, and that was a little bit here, and the blush that I used was my Lorac, my go-to everyday blush that I absolutely love. And then I did use the Cushion contour and highlight also from Wet n Wild that I will share with you in the tutorial for this look that I'm wearing, which will be either already posted or the next video to come. So this is what it looks like. I think that regardless of the method, whether it's the brush, which is this side, or a dampened sponge, for me, with my skin type of getting a little oily, and I'm also using a moisturizer that is just a little bit heavier because my skin does feel really tight and dry after cleansing, so that could also play into this. But I think that in my T-zone, it looks pretty good. I don't think that I would do any sort of touch-ups in that area except just right in my cheek area, which is my problem zone. This is the issue that I have, and I think that I could have maybe extended this a little bit had I used setting powder. I didn't use any concealer either, so this is just a little bit of scarring that you can still see through the foundation, which I'm actually pretty impressed with because most foundations will need to have additional coverage added to it with concealer and then setting that. So this is a little bit extra, so a second layer just in this area and in this area here, and I think it does have a really good coverage. As far as like my dryness and stuff, it still has accentuated because my chin is pretty much balanced. I don't think it looks oily, it just looks a little bit on the dewy side. You can still see a lot of my dryness and the texture of my skin that is just part of having the dry patch right there. It doesn't really seem to cling to anything on my forehead. It looks pretty smooth, and so does that Cushion bronzer, which I do have that on. It looks pretty smooth. So I think what I want to do is maybe use a tiny bit of setting powder, and the one that I normally use is the Cinema Secrets. I like to set my foundations normally with a damp sponge with translucent powder because I don't want to set it with a powder foundation. I don't like to wear a lot of coverage. I don't personally think that I need full coverage except for now in these problem areas that I'm having lately. I need a little extra there, but normally when my skin is more calm and breakout free, I can go with a very light coverage. Even a tinted moisturizer is plenty enough for me. So I like to keep things pretty light. So I'm going to use this Cinema Secrets setting powder, and I'm going to use the brush to apply just a tiny bit because I'm actually going to go outside and watch my son play. He's into soccer now, so we're going to go outside and play for a little while. So we'll see what happens with setting this. And I'm kind of avoiding the tops of my cheekbone because I did put a little bit of that Cushion highlighter from Wet n Wild, so I don't want to go over it. I want to keep that sort of luminous, natural kind of glow. So we're just going to go over this and see what happens. And hopefully that sort of, you can see when you set it, it goes back to having that really soft, really pretty finish. So I'm just going to do that and see how this sort of works, me being outside. I'm not going to be under too much direct sunlight, so hopefully the heat doesn't affect the wear of this. So this is what it looks like with the setting powder. Brush side, sponge side. Maybe if I get a little closer, you guys can see. I don't know if the camera is going to show you the sort of, where is it? This little chunk right here where it looks a little bit dry, but that's to be expected with most foundations. The only one that I have that doesn't do that is my Urban Decay. So there you go, and I'll be back in a little while. Alright guys, so I am back to do my last official check-in for the day and give you my official thoughts and kind of wrap up this video. I did a check-in, which you just saw a couple seconds ago at the 4-hour mark, and it is now, let me show you, 6:07, so it's almost exactly 3 hours. And I've been timing this so I can kind of monitor my skin and give you guys my thoughts. So as you can see, the camera probably will show you the dewiness. This is the side that I use the dampened sponge, and then this is the side that I use the brush. I also use the same tools to apply my translucent setting powder. And I think that the foundation looks pretty good in my T-zone. I mean, slight dewiness here, but it's like a nice dewy look, you know what I mean? And here it definitely looks oily, especially right in this region here. I'm looking at my skin, and besides that dewiness that I have, it's not breaking apart. It's still just as nice and even on my nose. My chin is still accentuating those dryness because that's my dry spot. So I actually don't think it's bad. I mean, I don't know. Do you think I'm a little less dewy on the sponge side? I want to say I am, or maybe it's just the same. It's not bad. I'm not mad at it. I love the price point. I mean, who wouldn't? It's like a $6 foundation that has worked so much better than some very expensive foundations that I've tried in the past. I appreciate you being here with me today, spending some of your day. I hope that you found it helpful. Please let me know in the comment section if you have tried this, if you're interested in this foundation, if it works for you, if you hate it, if you love it. Let me know. And if you have any recommendations for foundations for oily, acne-prone skin and combination that has a little bit of everything, let me know. Hook it up. Let me know in the comment section. Have a fabulous day, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.